Hi everybody, Elle from Bohemian Moon Tarot, and I have something to tell you about tarot that I bet you don't even know about. At least most of you probably don't. And it's about the artwork. I think it was last week that Kelly from Truth and Story was reviewing I think it was the fairy deck. The Fairy Deck by Doreen Virtue, the Fairy Tarot. I'll link it down below. And she said that, well, you watched the video. She was having problems with the artwork. She was questioning why it was, I don't think it was matching, or she felt it was out of whack somehow. And and they repeated the same image over and over, and there were just a lot of issues with it. And I agree with her. There were a lot of issues with it. Now, here's the thing. I tried to explain to her, but it's hard over the internet to explain this stuff, that artists, digital artists, because that was a digital deck, don't always use their own original art to make a tarot deck, They take other images that are free images or that are somebody else's images, and they manipulate it to look, they change it enough to make it look different, and they put it in their decks. And so Kelly said, well, I don't think that's the case because it's copy, he has a copyright, the artist. And I said, yeah, I know, they can copyright that. And the reason why I know is because for the past 8 years, I have another hobby. Not that tarot is a hobby, it's business, but I have a hobby where I work with a lot of, which is coincidental. I didn't even know they did tarot decks. A lot of artists that make tarot decks, and I work with them with their art in Photoshop. So I know that you can change up the images, and I know that they do this because I've seen the same images by two different artists, but they were either wearing a different dress, or their hair was a different color, or they had a lot of jewelry on and they were in a very different setting. And so to explain my point, this is lately, the synchronicity that has been happening to me lately for, I would say, the past 2 months. I think of something and, oh, wouldn't that be nice? Or I'll say something, I'll put something out in the universe, and then it happens. Like Kelly was giving away, to celebrate her time on YouTube, she was giving away a free tarot reading, and I've never won anything in my life. And I put it out in the universe, and I said, you know what? I'm going to win that reading. And really, there was really no chance of me winning that reading. I have never won anything. And I'm watching her video, and she pulls my name out. And stuff like that has been happening to me a lot lately. I have no idea why. It just is. But anyway, and it's fun when it happens. It's kind of like, when you have a deja vu, like you think you've been there before, you've heard this said before, and it feels so like mystical. It's that kind of thing. It's kind of fun. Anyway, I want to show you a card that I just recently got, the Lumina deck, and I did a video about that, and I'll link it down below. See how good I'm getting at this? And it's the Hierophant card, and I want to show this to you. Now, when I saw this card, I said, oh my gosh, he reminds me of Manson. He's very creepy looking to me. Just is. I love the card, don't get me wrong. Just talking about him. And I said, wow, he really reminds me of Manson. All right, no problem. He goes back in the deck. I funded a book, and I'm going to do a video on this too, called Tarot Fundamentals. And you got some free artwork from Eric C. Dunn, who did the Tarot Illuminati. Oh, sorry, I just dropped that card. Who did the Tarot Illuminati deck, and he's also coming out with another deck called Tarot Apocalypsis. You got some free prints with the funding, which is really nice, and I appreciate that. And this is the Tower card that I got, and I want to show you this Tower card, and I'll hold them two together. And when I saw this, I said to myself, ooh, he's creepy. He reminds me of Manson. So now, and I got this right before Christmas, so like 6 weeks later, because I just got this deck, I see this card and I go, oh, he's creepy. He reminds me of Manson. And I went, Charlie Manson's, where did I see that before? I was trying to figure it out, and sure enough, it clicked. Look. Do you see what I mean about the manipulation, how it's different, yet the same? It's like taking a person and dressing them up differently and putting different makeup on them, throwing a tattoo on them, using different colors. This is closer, this is farther away. Changing their hair color, that kind of thing. The Hierophant from the Lumina, and this is the Tower from the upcoming Tarot Apocalypsis from Eric Dunn, which I've already pre-ordered on Amazon. You could do the same. I mean, this is an awesome card. I love it, and I love this one. But this is what I mean. Digital art manipulation. The artist, Eric Dunn, and whoever the artist is for this, they did not draw this image. They borrowed this image from whoever drew it, and they changed it. And if you change it enough, like, you just can't take the image and, let's say, just put a little red over here, you know, on the top and say, okay, that's it. You have to change the look of the image. And, you know, you could see that the look of the image is definitely changed. You have to change it enough. And if you do that, you can use it. And then they copyright their deck. So that was what I was trying to explain to Kelly when she was talking about the art in Doreen Virtue's fairy deck, because I've noticed she's done this a lot. I've seen other people's art in her deck, yet the deck is copyright under some other different name. That the reason why sometimes the images don't seem to fit is because they take images from somewhere else, they digitally manipulate the image enough so that it's different enough to call their own. And this is allowed. This is part of the digital era. I mean, you could never do this if you weren't online. It would never happen. But now with all this technology, you could do things like that. So there are times when you go, oh, this artist is awesome, she's awesome, he's great, I love his work. A lot of it is just manipulated. And the art in Doreen's decks, in my opinion, are not as high quality as, you know, they're digitally manipulated, and I don't think they come out looking very well. But I do think these two, and what makes them so good, is that they have digitally manipulated this image, and it came out, both of them, looking awesome, really awesome. So, I have no complaints about it. I mean, I'm used to this because I've been working with digitally. I don't digitally manipulate the images. I put the artist's original image or their digital manipulated image in a different background, so or a different setting. So I don't really change their art at all. Now, I'm not saying that because, you know, he did this, every single one of his cards are not his. He's taken them from somewhere else and digitally manipulated everything. I'm not saying that, because a lot of artists that do digital art, they do their own art. They absolutely do. And you won't see it anywhere. So he may have just taken this particular image, saw it, and said, wow, that would look good, you know, on this card. And she did the same thing. That would look good on this card, and, you know, used it. But that doesn't mean her whole deck is somebody else's original artwork that she changed. Doesn't mean that at all. And I don't want anybody to, you know, get the idea that I'm saying that they just take other people's art and change it and sell it as their own. I doubt it. I doubt it. I think a lot of the artwork in, and again, I don't know, so don't, you know, a lot of the artwork in some decks that some artists put out is mostly manipulated. But yeah, isn't that interesting? I bet you didn't know this. Well, I bet most of you didn't know it. So, Kelly, this is what I was trying to explain when I commented on your video, but it was kind of like, you know, so much gets lost in the translation on, you know, when you're typing to someone. It's just not the same. You can't hear the person's voice. You can't hear the tone. You can't see the body language, and sometimes it's just on a subject that's difficult to explain the way you really want to explain it. So now I did. I explained it, and I just think it's kind of a fun little trivia